A black veteran wore his medals with pride at a city parade until a police officer stopped him in front of thousands and treated him like a criminal. The humiliation shattered his family, ignited nationwide outrage, and exposed a level of racism that left the entire street frozen in silence. But what happened after the cameras stopped rolling shocked even people who thought they had seen it all. Let's go back to the beginning. The July sun burned over downtown Birmingham as crowds gathered for the annual Veterans Freedom Parade. Flags waved. Bands tuned their instruments. Children sat on their parents' shoulders waiting for the march to begin. 70-year-old Elijah Brooks adjusted the medals on his dark navy uniform. Bronze Star. Purple Heart. Medals earned decades ago in Vietnam. Beside him, his granddaughter Naomi filmed everything for social media. "Granddaddy, give me one smile," she laughed. Elijah smirked. Smiles cost extra these days. But the moment changed when Officer Daniel Mercer approached them with a suspicious stare. "You there," Mercer said sharply. "I need to verify that uniform." Naomi frowned. "Excuse me?" Mercer ignored her. "We've had impersonators before. Show me military identification." People nearby started watching. Elijah slowly pulled an old military ID from his wallet. His hands trembled slightly. "I served this country before you were born," he said quietly. Mercer barely looked at the card. "Could still be fake." Naomi stepped forward angrily. "You serious right now? This man's a veteran." Mercer's voice grew louder. "If he refuses cooperation, I can remove him from the parade area." The crowd reacted instantly. "That man's old enough to be your father. Leave him alone." Phones rose into the air. Videos started recording. Elijah felt the familiar humiliation sink into his chest. After surviving war overseas, he still had to prove he belonged at home. Naomi whispered, "You okay?" Before Elijah could answer, someone in the crowd shouted, "That's Elijah Brooks." Another voice followed. "The man who saved soldiers in Vietnam?" Mercer looked confused. But Naomi's livestream had already exploded online. And someone important had just seen it. Inside City Hall, retired General Raymond Whitaker stared at his phone in disbelief. "That's Sergeant Brooks," he said quietly. "What are they doing to him?" Back at the parade, Officer Mercer continued questioning Elijah while cameras surrounded them. "Those medals could be fake," Mercer insisted. Naomi couldn't believe it. "You looking for a reason to embarrass him?" Comments flooded her livestream. "Protect that veteran. This is heartbreaking. Still treating black heroes like criminals." Mercer's partner leaned close. "Daniel, maybe back off." But Mercer shook his head. "I'm following procedure." Elijah stood silently, trying to hold on to his dignity while strangers filmed his humiliation. Then a black SUV pulled beside the barricade. General Whitaker stepped out. The entire street fell silent. The general walked directly to Elijah and gave him a full military salute. "Sergeant Brooks," he said proudly. People gasped. Whitaker turned toward Mercer. "This man rescued wounded soldiers under enemy fire." Mercer's face lost color. The general's voice thundered across the street. "And you stopped him because you thought a black man in uniform didn't belong here?" News cameras captured everything. Within minutes, hashtags spread nationwide. Hashtag respect black veterans. Hashtag justice for Elijah. Mercer suddenly realized the entire country was watching. But the biggest shock came next. The parade committee announced the entire event would stop until Elijah Brooks received a public apology. Bands stopped playing. Floats stopped moving. Thousands of people stood silently in the street. News helicopters circled overhead while reporters pushed through the crowd. General Whitaker stood beside Elijah during the chaos. A reporter asked, "General, did Officer Mercer know who Sergeant Brooks was?" Whitaker answered coldly, "He shouldn't have needed to. The clip spread across every major news station. Mercer's police captain arrived furious. "What were you thinking?" he snapped. Mercer tried defending himself. "I was checking legitimacy. You humiliated a 70-year-old veteran in front of the entire country." For the first time all day, Mercer looked shaken. Meanwhile, younger black veterans surrounded Elijah. One hugged him tightly. "You stood there for all of us," he said. Elijah looked exhausted. "You know what hurts most?" he asked quietly. "Not him. It's knowing this still happens." Then an elderly white Marine veteran approached Mercer slowly. "That man saved my brother in Vietnam," the old veteran said. "And you treated him like garbage." Mercer couldn't answer. The weight of the moment finally hit him. On the main stage, the parade president grabbed the microphone. "Today we honor Sergeant Elijah Brooks," she announced. "A true American hero." The crowd erupted into applause. Then the marching band began playing "America the Beautiful." Thousands of people stood and saluted Elijah as tears filled Naomi's eyes. For the first time that day, Elijah finally felt seen. 3 days later, the video had over 40 million views. Civil rights leaders demanded police reform. Veteran organizations called for accountability. Officer Mercer was placed under investigation. Then something unexpected happened. Mercer asked to meet Elijah privately. Naomi didn't trust him. "That man humiliated you," she said. But Elijah nodded slowly. "People can learn." The meeting took place inside a small neighborhood church. Mercer arrived without his uniform or badge. He looked nervous. Finally, he spoke. "My father taught me to suspect black men first," he admitted quietly. "I told myself it was procedure, but I judged you before I knew you." The room fell silent. Naomi stared in shock. Mercer lowered his head. "I'm sorry." Elijah studied him carefully. "You know what racism does?" Elijah asked softly. "It steals humanity from everybody." Mercer's eyes filled with tears. Weeks later, Elijah proposed a new city program connecting police officers with black veterans and community leaders. To everyone's surprise, Mercer volunteered first. Months later, another parade marched through Birmingham. This time, Mercer walked beside Elijah instead of against him. Some people still doubted him. Others believed change was possible. As Elijah marched forward in his decorated uniform, the crowd rose in applause. And this time, nobody stopped the parade.